All right, welcome to Melissa's Team Made Call. It is Thursday, February 4th, and I'm clearly not Melissa McAllister. She couldn't be here tonight, and so she so eloquently asked me today. She's like, what do I do? I'm going to have to cancel the call. She calls me. This is literally what she says. I'm like, oh, you have like the most understanding team ever. Like, they'll totally understand if you cancel the call. And then as I was like going on and telling her how to go about canceling the call, I was like, oh, wait, you wanted me to actually do the call, didn't you? She's like, could you? So here I am filling in for Melissa. I'm going to talk really fast. So I am hitting record. You can come back to this, of course, at any time and replay it should you find the need. She insisted that, and I do see a ton of faces on here of people I do not know. I don't know our team anymore. So I am going to give you a little bit of brief history. I'm going to go really, really quickly through my story, breeze through that really quickly. And then the topic that she actually wanted me to cover with you guys tonight is a day in the life of an elite coach who also happens to be a wife, a mom of 3 and a half. I'm like literally 26 days and counting from baby number 4 on the way. So I guess I'm just going to get started from the top. I met Melissa 6 years ago and very quickly became a coach. She and I hit it off really well. She showed me the coaching opportunity, and I had no doubt in my mind that what she was saying was true and legit, and that it was something that I wanted to do. However, we were at a Starbucks together, and I said, I'm going to have to check my bank account. Because at that point in time, I was a single mom, recently divorced, had recently filed bankruptcy, was unemployed other than being a group fitness instructor, which if any of you are group fitness instructors, you know that that does not pay the bills. That pays for your shoes and your clothes and your music, and that's about it. And I had also just recently lost my home. So I had nothing. I had no income really to speak of, nothing really in particular going for me other than I had just found myself at a really low point in life. So I said very sheepishly, I'm going to have to check my bank account. And I didn't have the money. There wasn't a challenge pack way back when. So it was Shakeology plus a $40 sign-up fee. And I didn't have the money, quite honestly, for either of them. And so I had to tell her that. I was like, I can't afford it today. Could you meet me again in 2 weeks and I promise I'll have the money? And of course, Melissa, being as sweet as she is, said yes. And patiently, waited that 2 weeks. Meanwhile, for 2 weeks, I, at that point in time, had 2 boys. They were probably maybe 2 and 4 or 3 and 5, somewhere around that age. And I had to feed them hot dogs and tuna fish and just, really scrounge on like everything. And I sold a bunch of stuff. I did what I had to do to get the money together because I just knew that there had to be a way for me to make a living and still be available to my kids and build a better life for them. This was where I was at in life, was not what I signed up for when I decided to become a mom. So sure enough, 2 weeks later, I did it and kind of never looked back. That whole first year, I really, I would say I was more of a hobby coach. I didn't understand it. We didn't have coach basics. There were no training systems in place. Nobody knew anything about anything. Shakeology was maybe 6 months old when I joined the business. So my first year, we were still even figuring out how to market Shakeology. It was just really different back then. So that first year, once I got through that end of the year, I realized I had made maybe around $15,000 or something along those lines in my first year. And for me, that was enough to go, this is legitimate. Like there's a business here and I'm missing something. I think I could do something with this. And that's kind of when I decided. And I think by the end of my first year, I had made it to 1-star diamond, but it was like total fluke. Like I don't even know how. I can't even tell you. I was a fitness instructor. I think I signed a few of my students, one of whom was a personal trainer. he ended up signing a lot of people, and we got to 1-star diamond. Total fluke. So fast forward, I spent that second year really learning the business, working hard, and I guess towards the end of that year, I think I had more than doubled my income. And again, I went, okay, I'm doing something right. We're moving in the right direction. Let's see, 10, 11. So then my third year in the business was 2012. That was the first year that I was able to build my business with my team to elite. So 2012, we ended the year as an elite team. And that was a big business building year. That also happened to be a year where I got married and had a baby, and then shortly thereafter sold my house. So it was a big year with a lot of life stuff going on as well. 2013 was a rough year. The second we sold our house, I ended up having 4 surgeries. My husband had 1. Then my grandfather passed away. 2 months later, I found out my dad had stage 4 lung cancer. And sorry, someone's sound is coming up. I want to mute everybody. There we go. So 4 months later, after finding out my dad had stage 4 lung cancer, he was gone. And I still had a newborn, so I was doing a lot of flying back and forth. I live here in Texas, and my family was in Minnesota. So 2013, to say that was a rough year, it was a rough year. And about 1 month after my dad passed away was the end of the year, and we had worked really hard towards hitting elite. My team had done it again. We had the points. Everything was in place. And we thought it was a done deal. And right around January 5th, I think, if any of you know who compliance is at Beachbody, you know that kind of sends a little chill down your spine. I get a phone call, and 3 levels deep in my organization, someone had broken a rule. And as their star diamond upline, I had to take the fall for it. And I did not get to be elite in 2013. My whole team had worked for it. We thought we had it done and in the bag, and they took it away. And they said, you're going to have to just be premier instead, because it affected one of my diamonds. Okay, so that was a really hard year, really rough flow. So many challenges to overcome in 2013 and starting 2014. And I think it was Brittany Leggett, maybe? Yeah, that just spoke on the National Wake Up Call about resiliency. She's so right. You take a month, a week, whatever you need to soak in those failures and those struggles, and then you pick yourself up and you fix it. And quite honestly, I let that big blow be my push for 2014. I was bound and determined not to let that happen again. I was bound to not let that define my team. I didn't want to be known as that team by corporate or by anybody else. It was really, really important to me to rebuild my team, my brand, and just prove to myself that we could do it again. So 2014 was another rebuilding year, and we managed, what year are we? Yeah, that's right. So we managed to hit elite again in 2014. And then 2015 was last year. So last year, of course, now I'm pregnant again, which leads me to the point of the call tonight. I just wanted to give you some background. So obviously that tells you I'm 3-time elite. I have 4 business centers. In my first, I'm 7-star. In my second, I'm 2-star. In my third, I'm 1-star. And in my husband's, I'm 1-star. So I don't know, you can add it up, whatever. Melissa was very adamant that I share all of that with you. 3-time elite, 1-time premier. And my team is Rockstar Presenters, which falls under, of course, Team Made. So that's a little history. Oh, of course, 6-figure earner, all that good stuff. But that's neither here nor there. What I really want to share with you guys tonight is insight into how does someone who's, really and truly, we all have life happen to us. We all have had sick family members. We've all probably had surgeries or have family members that have had to have surgeries. I see lots and lots of women on here. You've probably either gotten married or divorced or had a baby or lost a baby. I mean, there's just, life happens. And yet through all of that, I managed to continue to hit elite and to build a really big business and a solid business that is, does exactly what I set out to do, which was I'm able to take care of my family from home under my own rules. So I wanted to give you some insight, and I'm literally going to take you day by day through what I do and how I make it work as a mom of almost 4 and a wife, and make elite happen. So that being said, I hope you have pens and paper handy, because I'm going to specifically take you through literally what I do every single day. Okay? And they say success leaves tracks. Yes? So these are my tracks, guys. All right. I'm going to start with what I do every day. These are every days, no matter what, except Saturday. Saturday is the day that I take off. Why? Because I have 3 kids. It is my day where really from morning till night, we are busy as a family. And I really and truly don't work on Saturdays. I maybe post a picture of us being out at a game. Like I have 2 older boys. So one's a gymnast, one plays football, basketball, and baseball. So I may take a picture here and there and post it, but it's really just to keep a presence. I'm not necessarily interacting with those posts or worrying about it being work. It's really just to show, hey, I'm a mom still. This is what we do on the weekends. But a lot of times I don't even bring my phone with me. So when I say every day, I mean every day except Saturday. So here are the things I do every single day without fail. I will post 3 to 5 times on my personal page. I'm very much like Melissa in that my personal page is a lot more active than my like page. So 3 to 5 times. Every single day, except Saturday, I answer Facebook messages. That is where most of my talking and traction happens. Very little happens through email. So I'm going to check that messenger and make sure I answer. I will also check and answer emails 2 times a day. It's the last thing I do during my morning work session and the last thing I do during my evening or afternoon work session. It's check and answer emails. And then the last thing that I do, 2 other things. I check in on my groups daily. So any groups that I'm running, whether it's training groups for my coaches, my challenge groups, or whatever. I do not automate my groups. I don't use Postcron. I don't use Hootsuite. I don't use Buffer. I have found that I mentally check out of my groups when they're automated and when I'm not coming up with the content on a day-to-day basis. It's more work and it's more energy to create that stuff day-to-day. However, where your energy goes, it is returned to you. What I found once I started automating things was that nobody else was checking the group either. My challenge groups died and my business slowed down. So if you have to automate, but for me, automation doesn't work. So I'm in my groups every single day. And then the last and most important thing is I do personal development every single day without fail, and I still do that on Saturdays. So personal development for me looks like when I don't set an alarm in the morning because I'm kind of spoiled that way, but when my husband's alarm goes off, I stay in bed for about 15 more minutes and I do a meditation. A lot of times it's a gratitude meditation. Sometimes it's an intention meditation. Whatever it is, whatever's on my mind or whatever feels right in my heart that day, I will stay in bed and just meditate for about the first 15 minutes of my day. Then, as you'll find out later during the week, I work from 1 to 3 in the afternoon. I also do personal development at that time. A lot of people love to do it first thing in the morning, but I can't read first thing in the morning. I'm not awake enough yet. My eyes don't see straight. I can't do it in the morning. My head's not right. And I still have kids in and around the house. And my husband's in and around the house. And I just want to be alone when I do personal development. So I found for me that it also happens in the afternoon. Those things happen every single day, no matter what. Okay? Now, I'm going to start with Monday because every day of the week is just a little bit different for me. And so I'm just going to take you day by day. Recently, Melissa and I did a different training group, and some of you may or may not have been in there. And it was funny, my video of a day in the life of happened before hers. And as soon as she saw it, she texted me and she's like, well, darn it, now I don't have anything to say. She sets up her week almost identical to mine. It's very, very similar. And what's funny is we've never actually talked about that. So again, success leaves tracks. Melissa's schedule is very similar to mine, minus all the kids stuff. And she probably works a little bit more than I do. All right, so Mondays, however, is a day that both Melissa and I have considered our hell day. It's my longest day of the week, and it's crazy, and I love it. It's probably one of my favorite days of the week. So Monday's a really busy day for me. I start at about 6 a.m., and I work from 6 to 8 a.m. That way, I still see my kids in the morning, but my husband, who does still work, he's an air traffic controller and very close to retiring, so we're not walking away from that. But he has a really kind of weird schedule. So he's here with the kids every morning, so he actually does all of the getting the kids to school type stuff. But I'm here to see them. They see me, they come in my office, they hugs, kisses, have a great day, on your way type of stuff. But from 6 to 8, I'm working. Then I get up, I take a break. When I'm not 9 months pregnant, usually that's about when my workout would happen. And I would come back to my desk around 9:30 in the morning and work from 9:30 till about 11:30. No, 12-ish. And I stop and I have lunch, and then I pick up my daughter from preschool. Okay? Now, that being the time frame, well, let me finish one more thing. Then I pick up my daughter from preschool, we come home, and she goes down for a nap. By 1 o'clock, I'm back in my office, and I work while she naps from 1 to 3. My kids get off the bus. My two oldest kids get off the bus at 3, and I'm more or less done for the day. I may, if my husband's at work later Monday night, I may work again in the evening once my kids are in bed, which would happen usually between 8 to say 9 or 9:30, and then I'm shutting it down. Okay, so those are my hours. What do I do in those hours on Mondays? Okay, it's hell day. First, I start with my team. I always start with my team. Without them, I would not be where I am, and that's where I start. So Mondays for my team page is, I call it the Monday morning news flash, just for lack of a better word. And I do upcoming, in my news flash, I just give them a forecast for the week. It's a little bit like Coach Breaking News, but it's a once weekly thing. So I remind them about the National Wake Up Call, and I may or may not give them some sort of incentive for being on, or I may ask them to post takeaways. I just really encourage engagement for the National Wake Up Call. I let them know about any other trainings that are coming up during the week. So if it's a week when, this call is happening, I'll let them know, and I'll give them the login info. If there's a new training coming up, if there are any events like a Super Saturday or a special speaker or just anything local going on, I make sure that I post all of that in that Monday morning news flash. It gives everybody just a taste of what's to come for the week. So also any new product launches, anything like that, challenges coming up, anything like that. Next up on Monday, I have a Facebook, Messenger has like groups for when you're talking to a group of people. I have groups for my diamonds in each business center. I message each business center's group of diamonds and remind them to check their rank every Monday. That gives them 3 days to fix it, right? When I am running coach recruitment ads, which don't ask me about Facebook ads because I can't tell you. Okay, I'm just crap shooting like everybody else, but I do run them. So when I do, on Mondays, I email all the coach applicants their initial email from me. And then I also follow up with past applicants on Mondays. I love Mondays. It's a fresh start. People are anxious to get in their inbox and clean it out. So I think it's a good day to email. I don't love emailing, but it's a good day to email if you're going to do it. I next confirm all of my appointments for the week. So I look at my schedule for the week. I make sure that if I'm meeting with someone, that I confirm with them. I don't want to get stood up, and I want to make sure that they remember. And as a mom of 3, almost 4, I know my schedule gets hectic. So I just, I'm okay with sending a reminder. Hey, confirming our appointment for, Wednesday at 1. We still good? And, I get those back. Next, I go back to my ads on my like page, and I know, my doggy's growling at me. I go back to my like page, I check my ads. What ads are working? Which ones are tanking? Do I need to just come up with new ads altogether? I just kind of spend time studying my ads manager. Next up, I communicate with my virtual assistant. She's in California, I'm here in Texas. We do everything back and forth via email. So again, I'm looking at the week. What needs do I have? Do I have new challenge groups coming up? If I do, I want to make sure that she's making a picture collage of everybody that's in that group so that I can shout them out publicly to gain referrals and support for them and show community, et cetera, et cetera. She does a lot of work for my like page. She does automate my like page just to kind of show there's content there. Any upcoming graphics, events, cover photos, anything that I need from her projects, I'm emailing that out to her on Monday so that she has at least a week or 4 days-ish to get all that ready. I'm also editing pictures on Monday. So if you do have pictures that you're going to use throughout the week that you're going to use to post, I edit those on Mondays. And then, I told you Monday was a hell day. It's the longest day of the week, okay? Next up, I am social on social media on Mondays. It's a great day to be social on social media. Catch up with people from the weekend. It's an awesome day to send out all your invites. Some people, I know that we really want you in the habit of inviting every day. However, I think Monday's a great day to do massive inviting and then more follow-ups, all throughout the week. So if you're someone who can operate that way and send out, say 30 to 50 invites on Monday, awesome. And then manage your follow-ups throughout the week. I'm fine with that. I don't know if Melissa is, but I'm fine with that. I think Monday's a great day because people are thinking about it. So I'm doing a lot of invites on Mondays. And then also on Facebook, you have interest lists on the side. Anybody who's your new friend will be listed under new friends. I'll click that list and I'll look at that newsfeed. Not just my regular newsfeed of all my coaches because I love you guys, but my newsfeed of all the new friends that I've added over the past few weeks. That way I can be social on their stuff. Who's being, do I have challengers that are posting all the time that would make great coaches? It's kind of an investigative day, but being social, supporting them, encouraging them. Are we good so far? Monday's a really long day. I realize it's making me sweat just talking about it. I think that's it. Okay, let's move on to Tuesday. On Tuesdays, again, I always, after personal development, start with my team. Tuesdays, I call Training Tips Tuesdays. And really, every week, I go in thinking, what is my team struggling with? What are we needing, or what are we about to do? And when I consider all of those things, then I find a training that I love. Maybe it's a personal development training. Maybe it's a motivational video I've seen somewhere. Maybe it's something from the 5-star wall that I was like, ooh, I saw that earlier this week. I love it. I'm going to implement it with my team and I'm going to share it. So it could be a video. It could be a new training tip. It could be anything. But I'm sharing that with my team on Tuesdays. Again, 6 to 8 a.m. and then 9:30-ish a.m. to noon. And then 1 to 3 in the afternoon. Same hours. And then on Tuesdays, I'm done. I don't work again in the evening. That's it. I I also leave Tuesdays open for face-to-face meetings and Zoom calls with people who are not local. So whether it's, coach applicants that I want to get on the phone with, rather than getting on the phone, I try and get them on Zoom. If they can see my face, I think I have a lot better chance of closing them. I usually do a lot of calls from 1 to 3 in the afternoon. Some of you are probably wondering, if I don't work a lot of evenings, how I end up managing to work with people that have real jobs. And I'll tell you what, if they want it bad enough, they'll find a way to meet me between 1 and 3. Most people, if I say I'm really only available between 1 and 3, they'll be like, oh, it's okay, I can flex my lunch and I'll do 1 o'clock. Or maybe they're in a different time zone. But generally speaking, people, if they want it, it's kind of a test. They'll make it work for them. So don't ever feel bad setting up a schedule that works for you and making everybody else follow it. Okay? So Tuesdays is a lot of meetings, face-to-faces, calls, and then meeting with any local success partners that I have. And that's it. Tuesdays is a short day. Wednesday, same hours, 6 to 8, and then 9:30 to noon and 1 to 3. So same hours. Wednesdays, first thing I do, and I'm always real excited to do it, is I run reports for shout outs that are going to happen on Thursday. So I look, is there anybody who is going to rank advance? I want my VA to make sure that she gets them a shout out picture. And then I also weekly on my shout outs, I shout out current Success Club points, anybody who had 500 PV for the week or more, and any team builders. And that goes on my weekly graphic for my shout outs that I do in my team page. So I don't do public shout outs with weekly numbers, but they do happen in my team page so that we can encourage each other to keep going. People are anxious to see their name on the graphic. It's pretty motivating. Of course, at the end of the month, I'm running a final shout out. Makes sense, right? For a 3 Lives Club, and then, Success Club earners, success starters, anything else that would be recognized. So weekly and monthly. The next thing that I do is I email my CFO. My CFO is my husband. And it's a big job. We became incorporated a couple of years ago. He does all of the bookkeeping for our family and for the business both. And a couple of years ago when we were meeting with our financial advisor, she was like asking some questions, and she's like, well, you, like me, because I'm the CEO and I make a lot of the business decisions. She's like, you seem to know what you're spending, but he's your CFO and he doesn't know what you're spending, and there's a disconnect there. And she's like, you guys just need to communicate more. And we were like, oh, okay. So the system we came up with was every Wednesday, I look ahead about a week and a half ahead at what our expenses are going to be. And I pull up my calendar and I look at my kids' stuff too. Like, do we have, even little things, do we have like upcoming dentist appointments, doctor's appointments, orthodontic stuff, any out of the norm payments like tuitions or something that wouldn't normally happen? Anything out of the norm for my family, I'm going to let them know. And then the same thing for my business. Do I have Success Club gifts that I need to buy? Do I have, any other team expenses that are coming up? I email him that list on Wednesdays, and on Thursdays after the paycheck goes in, he emails me back and lets me know where we stand with every single one of those things. So it's been a really important communication between my husband and I, and it's very official. It's not in passing while he's going to the bathroom and I'm brushing my teeth. That's not how you run a business. There are times when I'm CEO and he's CFO and we need to act as such. And that's just one of those times. So I email him that, and I just title it expense report. Then I follow up with all those, remember those diamond groups I said I had in Facebook Messenger? I follow up with them and say, okay, I messaged you Monday. Is your rank fixed or are you good to go? Just one last check with them. Then the next thing in that 9:30 to 11 slot is I do meet with the CFO. We actually sit down in my office and have a meeting, and we just go over everything. He, aside from being the CFO, is an amazing business partner. And a lot of times I have a lot on my mind with the business, and I want to have a set time when, of course, we're always husband and wife, but when we're sitting down to specifically talk business. This is how someone with a family, a big family, gets business done, is we talk business at specific times. Of course, there are like casual business conversations all the time because we live, eat, and breathe it. But this is the serious stuff. Like if I know I have a list of a big project of an idea that I have, I don't talk about that when we're laying in bed or winding down. I make sure that I save that for a time when we're sitting down to talk about business. So we do. We have a meeting every week. Some meetings are really short, there's nothing to say, and some meetings are really long and there's a lot to go over. And I really appreciate, of course, his feedback. I want to know financially if it's a smart idea. And it's an important meeting, and I think we both enjoy it. Again, Wednesday afternoon, 1 to 3 is usually calls. If I don't have calls scheduled, anytime you're like, geez, you have a lot of calls. I really don't do that many calls. So when I'm not doing calls, I'm generally prepping trainings or prepping for calls I'll be speaking on or brainstorming. There's a lot of creativity in this job, and I hope that you don't underestimate that. Again, 1 to 3 is the time when my house is quiet. So I love using that 1 to 3 to just put pen to paper and think. What am I thinking about? Just think. Think about names, think about projects, think about challenge groups that I would be passionate about running, thinking about recipes, ideas, whatever's in my mind. And then also last thing that I do on Wednesdays is I follow up on email with any applications again. Okay? Every day of the week, throughout the week, my days get shorter and shorter and shorter. I work really long, hard hours on Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday get lighter and lighter and lighter. So Thursday, the only thing I do, shout outs, celebrations, I dig around in my back office because it's a fun day to dig around. Who's going inactive, who rank advanced, looking at, people's commissions, looking at my business. Is there something that, I'm seeing that, wow, hey, it really looks like this center could rank advance, or, ooh, it looks like this person's kind of fallen apart. Maybe I should message them, stuff like that. Thursday's also usually video day. Why? Because my husband's off of work and I'm usually showered and put makeup on. So it's a good day to make videos. So I make some videos on Thursday, and then I'm done. I'm done for the day. Friday, I don't do much of anything other than the stuff that I said that I do every day. Yes? You with me on Fridays? So I do the stuff that I do every day, but other than that, it's a personal day. I maybe get a pedicure or massage, or I go have lunch with the kids at school. It's a really light day for me. Saturdays, is family day. Doing stuff with the kids, sporting events, movies, hanging out, doing stuff. Sunday, I don't work most of the day on Sunday. It's usually a grocery shopping day. I do a lot of bulk or batch cooking, meal prep. And then in the evening, once the kids are in bed and before my husband and I relax for the evening, one of those more like pen to paper nights. And I just write, I prioritize, I kind of look at my week, set my intention, and I do make one big post on Sunday night, prepping for Monday. I think it's a great time. If you guys have heard of Jab, 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 Right Hook by Gary Vaynerchuk, who's speaking at Summit this year. If you haven't looked at it, look at it. But I've been jabbing all week. It's a great time to throw a right hook and either make a big invite to my next upcoming group or a coaching post. Sunday night's a great time to do that. And that's really quick. So just some last things I want to touch on, and then I'll let you do a Q&A, and then we'll be done. You've noticed I don't do evenings. I really don't. And if I do an evening, it's after 8 p.m. when I know my kids are going to be in bed. It's just important to me that I'm just done in the evenings. You'll also notice I'm done by 3 every day. I want to see my kids at the door and just be free and clear, know that I've worked hard all day and that I'm ready for them. So by 3 o'clock, I'm theirs. In the morning, sometimes in that 6 to 8 slot, I will take 30 to 45 minutes and bring my laptop in the bedroom and drink coffee with my husband and do my work in the bedroom. It's just, and he doesn't mind. He loves it. He has this weird thing where he's like, I like to hear you typing because I type fast. So he doesn't mind. He likes to watch the news and listen to me type. I like to work and drink coffee, and he's drinking coffee. So sometimes that's a nice time for my husband and I. It doesn't sound like we're connecting, but it is. It's something we actually enjoy doing together. So we'll do that. And I do have a date with my husband at least once every week, sometimes twice. And also my afternoon times throughout my week are flexible. So what do I mean by that? Next week, I have a Valentine's party for my 3-year-old at her preschool. Guess what? That comes first. So that day, I probably won't work from 9 to 11:30. I'll take that morning off. And I have it in my schedule, and it's fine because I don't have to answer to the boss because I'm the boss, right? This morning, I didn't work because my son had oral surgery. No big deal, right? I had my shout outs ready to go. I posted them, forgot about them, and went and played mom. So all of that said, so tired of hearing my voice. Hold on. Oh, I did pretty good. 35 minutes. Let me check the chat box. Okay, so great question. All right, I'm going to come back to that in 1 second. So I added these hours up actually today for a friend who said, I want to know, how many hours does an elite coach really and truly have to work to be an elite coach? So I called my husband. I said, sit down, and I want you to be honest with me if you think these are really and truly my hours. If you think I work less than that, tell me. If you think I work more than what I'm saying, tell me. And as you'll notice, I never work for more than 2 hours at a time. That's my stretch. Like any more than that, and I'm fried, and anybody would be. It's kind of standard that's a long time to work and sit, right? So I only work 2 hour stretches at a time. If I total up what I think I work, I say about 26 hours a week. But as you noticed, I don't miss a single beat with my kids. I see them in the morning before school. I'm there the whole time that they're after school for all their after school activities from 3 until 8. They're in bed by 8, and then, the evening is mine to either work or not work. So I've missed virtually nothing with my kids. Make sense? So it's 26 hours, which may sound like a lot, but I do it at times where I'm not being missed by anybody. Make sense? Now, my husband thinks I underestimate, and he thinks I work closer to 35 hours. So 26 to 35 hours about. And again, that would, next week will be less because I'm doing Valentine's parties with the kids. In the beginning, were my hours like this? I work all day. In the beginning, I probably worked closer to 40 hours a week. I work less now than I did when I was starting. Before I had my daughter, my third child, both of my kids were in school, I probably worked 8 hours straight, during the day. And then I probably worked again in the evening. So I probably worked closer to 8 to 10 hours a day, every day, the first 3 years at least. And then eventually it got to back off. Good question. So does that help, Jessica Heckel? Yes? Okay. So hopefully I answered her question. Alyssa wants to know, how much does my schedule change during the summer when my kids are home? Actually, not that much. It stays pretty close to the same because I am a firm believer that children need to learn how to entertain themselves. Yes? Okay. So I may sleep a little later. My schedule may go a little later, but I still work in the mornings because I don't stay up like ridiculously late. I get 8 hours of sleep and I wake up and I usually work and have coffee, and my kids are they're around, but they're not, crazy. And then I stop. I spend, a good chunk of like the morning and afternoon with them, right? And then when it's afternoon time, where I'd say nap time, but obviously my 9 and 11-year-old don't nap, it's still quiet time. Go do something together. You don't need me to entertain you all day. So they will all play together. They'll go outside together. The 3-year-old still has quiet time in her room. They'll read, and mom will work. It's okay for me to work 2 hours a day when the kids are home. I don't think that's that big of a deal. So it doesn't change a ton during the summer. It's probably a little more flexible because, we go to the pool and go do different stuff. But I think in the end, I probably make it up somewhere. What rank was I? Colleen wants to know, what rank were you when you decided to invest in a virtual assistant? I will tell you, I was at a rank where I couldn't afford it. I've had one almost from the very beginning. I would say, give me 1 second. I would say at the beginning of year 2, and I told you at year 1, at the end of year 1, I had made $15,000. I think at the end of year 2, I made close to 40. So I was only making about $40,000 a year when I said, I need an assistant, and I paid her to do some stuff. I'm a big proponent of if you make more per hour doing what you're doing, someone else should do it. So I do have someone who comes in and helps with stuff around the house. She maybe does 8 to 10 hours a week. And also I have a husband who is an equal partner. So as you heard, he's the one that takes the kids to school every day. My 2 oldest to elementary school and our youngest to preschool. And I do a lot of the cooking. He does the cleanup. Our stuff is really, really split. So I got a virtual assistant before I could afford one. And I got a house cleaner before we could really afford it. But we did, and it was always for me, like, let me prove it to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, let me prove that this is worth it. So when I got something, I worked my ass off to keep it. Like, once I had someone cleaning my house, I was like, oh, hell no, I ain't going back to cleaning my house. Oh no, we're not doing that. And so I worked my ass off to be able to afford it and justify it. So always living just like this much uncomfortable. Like committing to like, oh, I don't think I'm quite there. If you're like, oh, I don't think I'm quite there, you're there. So hold on, let's see. Colleen, I hope that answered your question. Any tips for working moms that want to get a lead? Yes, Jessica Heckel. If you would inbox me on Facebook, I have a phone call that I just recorded, actually a Zoom call that I just recorded with 2 women who have 5 children each and still work full time and are both Star Diamond coaches. And so I can message you that call, okay? And then Jessica, if you're in Melissa's big group team page, feel free to just share that there. So I'll send you the link and then you can share it with everybody that would want it. Leah. Yeah. So Leah, obviously that call would apply to you as well, right? Leah or Saris. So watch the call that I'm going to send to Leah, and she's going to share with to Jessica, sorry, and share with you. And same thing, yeah, Jessica, we'll get you the call, because those women on my team amaze me. Like, what the heck? Like 5 freaking kids, they can manage to get this stuff done. They're crushing it. So yes, absolutely. And now, because I told you I don't work evenings and I'm 45 minutes in, I'm calling it quits. Feel free to message me anything. Wow, I feel like I talked a lot and I hope I didn't put everybody to sleep. I know Max the dog is sleeping, but I hope that that's helpful. Obviously my life has been completely changed. I kind of like went through my story really, really fast, but if you don't know where I am now, I wouldn't believe it if it didn't happen to me. I look at the house that I was able to buy and build for my family, and the life that I'm able to provide by being there for them. It's amazing, and it was worth every single struggle. It was worth those 40-hour weeks when I was only making $15,000 a year. It was worth that to be where I am today. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of Team Made. And I just appreciate you so much. If you have questions, feel free to message me. But from Melissa and myself, I bid you good night. Bye, guys.